Hi, this is Jennifer Timko with Stampin' on the Fly, and I'm here today to show you how I colored this October flower using my Zig Clean Color markers. I'm using a stamp set that came in the October paper pumpkin from Stampin' Up called Blissful Bouquet. It comes in as part of the kit, but I've isolated the stamp out to use today. I just love the flowers and the fonts in this set. I went ahead and stamped 3 of the flowers just to save some time. I stamped it onto the Fabriano cold press watercolor paper, the 140-pound paper, and I stamped it in the W+9 pure color dye ink, which is in black. This ink is really good for watercoloring. I just created this mask by stamping onto a sticky note and cutting it out. I cut a little inside the edges so that you don't get that space when you're masking in between where you're stamping and where your image is. So just a little inside the lines is perfect. And then I'm adding on this extra sticky note because the stem of my leaves that I'm using, this particular stamp, is just a little longer than the flower and I didn't want it to go off the edge. So I just have this extra little sticky note to protect that from happening. This is a super easy way to create a mask that doesn't cause you any real stress. You don't need any fancy tools for it. Just positioning the stamp and then stamping down and pulling off the mask. Be careful when you're pulling off the mask just because the ink might not be perfectly dry on your mask. And I actually use tweezers here to pull it off so that I don't get ink on my hands. And you have that pretty little leaf. Just repositioning it. And this time I'm going to stamp the leaves off to the other side so that I have room for my sentiment in a little bit. And a little cat fur on my sticky note because that's how it happens around here. And you can see how quickly this really goes. Once you have your mask cut, this is a very quick thing for you to do. I think adding these leaves really does add a lot to this image panel. The flowers themselves seem kind of plain, and as soon as you add the leaves, they feel finished. One more leaf up at the top done, and now we're ready to reposition and get ready to stamp the sentiment. Again, there's a couple of sentiments in this set, but I chose the thanks because it had a little bit of a curve to it, and it seemed to kind of wrap around the flower, which was perfect for the sketch. Freshly Made Sketches, number 210, had the trio and then a sentiment on the side of the trio of images for the sketch. I thought it's a fun sketch, and this sentiment just seemed to work perfectly to make that happen. Now that all the stamping's done, I'm ready to watercolor. So again, I pulled out these Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers. I love them because they really are. They have a real brush to start with, and I only chose 3 colors because I find that for me, I'm still kind of a beginner with the watercoloring, and when I start adding too many colors, it gets to be a mess. So I just chose 2 for today, and I'm using the Zig Medium Watercolor brush as my blender. It has a nice tip on it. You can kind of work in bigger spaces, but it also can handle the smaller spaces, so it's the perfect size. Using just some clean water, I'm dampening 2 petals, and I'm just going to go through pretty much working with 2 petals at a time as I color. I'm going to start by laying down a little bit of color in lemon yellow. And then I'm going to come and follow through once I blend it out. I'm going to follow through with light brown, which actually has a bit of an orange to it, especially when it's blended with this yellow, and it's really pretty. And you'll notice that I'm leaving some empty spaces and some lighter spaces, and I'm doing that on purpose because I think that's one of the things I love the most when I see other people's watercoloring is that balance of light and dark and shadow. And so that's really what I'm going for today. This just goes to show that you really don't need, I got the pack of 48 markers with the zigs, but really you can do with less because all you need is a few of them to make beautiful, beautiful things. They blend so easily, as you can see, and they're very, very, very forgiving. And I just kind of go around and add color where I need. You can come back with color if you need to, and you'll see that as I go coloring through this, you'll see that I come back and add some color and reblend, and it just allows you to do that. Just going to clean off my paintbrush when I'm done with this one and using my paper towel over there and just kind of getting the extra color off, and then I'm going to add the clean water to 2 more petals and start the process all over again. All right, I'm going to speed this up, add some music, and let you watch me as I finish the coloring. As a final detail for the card today, I went ahead and took a black Sharpie marker and colored some of the basic pearls from Stampin' Up. I love the texture on these, and they're so easy to color with just a Sharpie marker. So I just colored them just like that, and you can see that I added them to the centers of my finished flowers. And all I did was take dimensionals from Stampin' Up! Or foam tape would work, and put this on a basic black base. I'm so glad you joined me today. Thanks so much for stopping in, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks.